right. So if y'all have been under a rock, there has a cruise ship over, hold on, y'all. I do not have my stuff together. Let's see. Okay. So hantavirus is not a new virus. It's been around for decades and was first widely recognized in the U.S. during an outbreak in the Southwest in the early 90s. It's typically spread by rodents, especially through exposure through mouse droppings, urine, or saliva, and is usually enclosed in places like sheds, cabins, garages, barns, and dusty areas. Most strains of hantavirus are not spread person to person, which is a major difference from the vid. However, the current concern involves a rare strain called the Andes hantavirus, which in rare cases can spread between humans through prolonged close contact. Health experts say that it spreads far less easier than viruses like the flu or the vid. Symptoms include fever, muscle aches, fatigue, chills, and nausea. So then in severe cases, it can quickly become dangerous by affecting the lungs and breathing, and sometimes turning into a life-threatening respiratory illness. In the United States, there have been about 890 confirmed cases since 93, making it very rare. It's suddenly in the news because there was a recent concern started aboard a cruise ship called MV Hantavirus, where passengers became sick during an international voyage. Health officials believe the outbreak may involve the Andes strain hantavirus, which raised concerns because of its rare ability to spread through close human contact. So far, the outbreak has reportedly resulted in multiple illnesses and 3 deaths, prompting international monitoring. At first, the ship faced delays docking while health officials tried to figure out how to safely evacuate passengers. Countries began coordinating plans to bring citizens home and monitoring them. So there were 17 Americans aboard that ship. Now, as of today, those 17 Americans have officially been evacuated from the ship and are returning to the U.S. They disembarked in Spain and are being flown to Nebraska, home to the nation's specialized quarantine and biocontainment unit for evaluation and monitoring. I'm going to play some of the videos that I found for it. Let me do that. And then we can go into, let's see. I'm going to play this video first because they're saying that it's at 9 countries right here. Let's see. Add to stage. There we go. We'll listen again on this one.
The cruise ship linked to a deadly hantavirus outbreak after arriving off the coast of the Canary Islands.
At least 17 Americans are among those that are being evacuated as officials race to keep the virus contained.
Chanley Painter here with the latest. Chanley.
Hey, good morning. So the 140 passengers on board the hantavirus-plagued MV Hantavirus are now disembarking in groups by nationality via small boats of up to 10 people. This after the cruise ship arrived in the Canary Islands off the coast of Africa a few hours ago. The World Health Organization is reassuring people on the island that there's no risk to the public, and Spanish health officials say the passengers all remain asymptomatic. While none of the current passengers have tested positive for the hantavirus, the outbreak did earlier kill 3 people on board, while several others tested positive. So now the remaining passengers and crew are leaving the ship after undergoing health screenings, and once off the ship, they will be bused to the airport for flights to their home country.
This is, again, not like COVID. We've handled outbreaks like this before. I think in 2018, there was an outbreak in the United States. So my message to the American people is, please don't worry.
This is, again, a dynamic type of situation. And the goal is for all of the repatriation flights to take place on Sunday and Monday. We do know that there's a weather system that's coming in, and I think they want to do all of the repatriation before that comes through.
17 Americans on the ship will now be flown to Nebraska, where they will be monitored by a CDC team. And currently, 6 states are monitoring cruise passengers who previously disembarked the ship. And the outbreak of the rodent-borne illness sparked global concern over a possible wider spread when the weeks-long Atlantic cruise spiraled into a nightmare after it departed Argentina in March. Authorities say an elderly Dutch couple carried the rare Andes strain of the virus after contracting it in Argentina last month while visiting a landfill overrun with trash, known for a pilgrimage point for bird watchers. Guys, back to you.
All right, Chanley.
Thank you,
very much.
Chanley.
So basically over bird watching, this is all going down. People lost their lives over some bird watching. I'm gonna play one more video that
his friends and family that he believed he was.
Wait a minute, hold on, y'all. Let's see. Because it's well, I got 2 more videos, but this one is a long one. I'm gonna play the first part of
Selma, this cruise ship is expected to dock in the Canary Islands this weekend. What exactly is going to happen?
This is a really complicated and sensitive operation to get these passengers off the boat safely, of course, while also keeping them in isolation. It's something that the Spanish authorities have continued to address. There's even protests on the Canary Islands against the boat docking, so you can understand just how sensitive of an issue it is. Now, Spanish authorities say they have an ironclad system in place. It's going to be a closed circuit loop. There are medical facilities and medical personnel waiting to provide treatment to those who need it, waiting to provide any support that may be needed. They're going to have special entrances to enter those medical facilities that are specifically prepared for these passengers. They will all be seen, treated if they are needed to be treated. And then the other element to this, the part 2 of this, if you will, is repatriating those citizens to their individual countries. You have more than 20 different countries among more than 140 people. So Spanish authorities right now are speaking to each of these individual nations to figure out what their plans are for bringing their citizens home. Let me give you the UK as an example because they're monitoring several cases. They have 3 suspected cases right now that they're monitoring. One is in a hospital in Johannesburg, one is a hospital in the Netherlands, one is on an island, a remote island in the Atlantic, and then they're dealing with several other Britons who are.
So yeah, South Africa, Singapore, Switzerland, Netherlands, United Kingdom, France, Spain, United States, and Canada all have confirmed cases. Yeah, I'll do this last video, y'all.
Dr. Stephen Kornfeld, he's on board the Hantavirus hit cruise ship, and he's helped care for sick passengers. And Doctor, I very much appreciate your time. Of course, you're on that ship right now, and you started out just as a passenger, but you're a doctor. So when this started, you ended up helping treat people, including the ship's doctor. How did that happen?
It sort of happened gradually. I knew one of the passengers was getting ill. This was at the end of April, and I just reached out and asked if I could assist the doc, make sure he felt he had adequate coverage, and I was told that the doctor was also sick. So over 12 to 24 hours, it became clear that there were a number of people sick and that they were getting sicker, and I sort of fell into the role of becoming the ship doctor.
I know you treated the ship's doctor and that he was eventually, you were telling us, actually evacuated off the ship, which left you caring for other patients as well. I mean, can you describe the sorts of symptoms that you've seen, doctor?
Well, there are 3 patients that seem to be getting ill around the same time. One of them, just very non-specific symptoms, a lot of confusion and a lot of weakness. And she ultimately passed away relatively quickly. The 2 other gentlemen, quite a bit younger, including the doc, just had a lot of standard viral symptoms, a lot of fever, fatigue, flushing, some GI issues, some shortness of breath. At the time, neither one of them looked critically ill, but the fear with hantavirus is you can go from seriously ill to critically ill very, very quickly.
You know, a woman yesterday who had survived hantavirus was telling us exactly that, doctor. She had sort of flu-like symptoms. Suddenly in her case, it was a cough as her lungs filled, and she ends up in a medically induced coma on life support. How concerned are you about the potential for things to escalate and for those patients, even now that some of them have been evacuated?
Well, when they're on the ship, I'm very concerned because the ability to treat somebody at that critical state here on this boat is non-existent. But now that they've been evacuated, they're in Denmark. I mean, they're getting magnificent care. Even if such an event happened, they would get supported. And I think what happens with hantavirus, ultimate survivability, is really dependent on your ability to get critical care at the right time.
So he said a word then. So to really, make sure you recover from this virus is to get that care as soon as possible. I did want to, I did do some research. These cruise ships, they go to some interesting places across the world. Where is I went to their website because they have several cruise ships that they do across the world. Let's see. It's called Ocean Wide Expeditions. I'll share my screen. Let me see. share this tab. I thought it was interesting if y'all want to see it. But they go to Antarctica. They go to Arctic, like Greenland, Iceland. They have combination cruises and everything. They experience wildlife, ski mountaineering, Greenland kayaking. I mean, they go some interesting places, you know, people. They explore some nice places that your average person probably can't go. The prices are significant, I would say, but not out of reach when I looked at some of the prices. So it was interesting. This is the kind of expeditions they do go on those cruise ships. So yeah, but yeah, y'all. So that's it's sad that that's going on. So the 17 Americans, I got my notes, they're not confirmed to be infected. They're being monitored out of caution because they may have been exposed, of course. And the CDC says that there's no mandatory quarantine for asymptomatic people, and the risk to the public remains very low. So people who may think that this might be another pandemic episode like the vid was, it's most likely not. Some Americans who left the ship earlier had already returned home to states including Georgia, Texas, Arizona, and California, and officials say they are being monitored but have not shown any symptoms. So the CDC and the World Health Organization have stressed that hantavirus is much harder to spread, far rarer, and doesn't move through communities the way the vid did. Experts say people should stay informed but not panic. So, but yeah, I just wanted to put that in there because it had been going on and I hadn't really talked about it. JoJo said, I don't know, but maybe this is why Black people always rinse things off. Yeah, I rinse my soda cans off and anything that, wash your meat, all that. Supermax said though they embarked slow down. Thank you, Superman. JoJo said, that's horrible, trying to enjoy yourself and lose your health or your life. I know. They never thought, that would be their last day on earth, or get sick behind it anyway.